Welcome back to the Books Brothers podcast, the podcast where longtime friends spread across the country reconnect through the pages of a good book. Each episode, we dive into what we're reading, sharing our thoughts and perspectives, all while enjoying a few laughs along the way. Whether you're a big reader, or a little reader, or just enjoy listening in on our discussions, join us as we explore insightful topics and narratives while connecting each week. I'm Rob.
I'm Adam.
I'm Matt.
I'm Fliz.
And I'm Garrett. That's exactly what he sounds like.
Yeah.
And I'm a ginger.
Have you ever found yourself in the most uncomfortable situations ever and would give anything to get out of them? Well, look no further. Now introducing Lifesaver. This ain't your grandparents' wristlet that calls the ambulance when they've fallen and can't get up. No, this is the future, the now, for those most uncomfortable situations. Say you're out to dinner with your girl and your ex is the waitress. Or that you just squeaked more than a fart through at work before a big presentation. Or even that you signed up to go traverse Antarctica and you're now stranded on an island, frostbitten. Lifesaver is that snap of your fingers, press of a button lifesaver that transports you into the future where everything is okay while cleaning up the mess you're currently in. Why go through life unprotected when you can have Lifesaver?
Introducing Shackleton's Crankin' Toasty Socks. Frozen toes, Antarctic woes. Meet the socks that save expeditions and your dignity. How it works: you slip them on, crank the hand generator like your life depends on it. Boom, warm feet and happy soul. Doubles as a workout as well. Get ripped and stay toasty. Shackleton's Crankin' Toasty Socks, because electricity wasn't invented yet.
Nice.
All right, boys. Part 5 marks the start of a new chapter as the men set foot on solid ground once again, the Elephant Island. It's like Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, but with less moonwalking and more frostbite. The guys are filled with a sense of relief, finally off the boats and able to rest. But just as they start to think they might actually catch a break, rumors fly. Within 24 hours, they'll need to pack up and head to a safer spot on the island. Of course, this little detour comes with blizzard conditions and winds that could freeze the beard off of a Yeti. Plus, almost everyone's suffering from frostbite, and the new campsite is about as appealing as wearing the same pair of frozen underwear for months on end. But, true to form, the men make camp, surviving, and because it's tradition, killing penguins. As the days drag on, Shackleton drops the bombshell. A party of 5 will take the card and head out to find rescue for the expedition. Although there were other destinations some 500 miles away, Shackleton declares it's South Georgia, a solid 800 miles away, that will be their destination due to their ability to travel 60 miles per day with the help of their frenemy, the wind. On page 193, it states, "And though the carriage chances of actually reaching South Georgia were remote, a great many men genuinely wanted to be taken along. The prospect of staying behind, of waiting and not knowing, of possibly wintering on the hateful island, was far from attractive. So, first question, would you have preferred to be one of the 5 brave souls setting sail on the Caird to find rescue, or would you have preferred to stay put on Elephant Island? What's your reasoning behind your choice?"
I think selfishly I would want to go on the boat, because staying back and, just sitting there waiting, not knowing what's going to happen, if there's even going to be anybody coming, or if I'm just going to sit here suffering through this horrendous winter, I would rather be like in the know.
Yeah, you were going to say just so that you could say, "I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat."
Yeah, that too, for sure.
Even after being on the boats for so long, you'd want to go right back out?
Yeah, I think that's better than the alternative, to just sit there and wait. I mean, I think the self-sacrificial thing to do would be to sit there and wait.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. It seems like the preferable option would be to go. But yeah, I agree with Fliz, where it seems like there's more hope in going on the boat. I think they had just to get to Elephant Island. I think it was like 5 days, 6 days, but like the way they described it like they got like zero sleep on that trip. So it, as you're mentioning, Rob, it definitely sounds awful to spend more time on a small boat in the middle of the ocean. But at the same time, I think having just had that journey, you kind of think there's no way that ship's going to make it. So it's like, do you rather go on the ship that you think is going to like crash and not make it and die on the ocean, or like be stranded on an island? Like, which of those sounds worse? They both sound pretty awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been going back and forth on this one. I think after the 5 or 6 days of being on a boat, I don't know if I would want to go back on a boat, especially knowing that you have to cross the Drake Sea, I think is what it's called.
Drake Passage.
Drake Passage, yeah. If you knew that you had to go through that, I think I would probably choose to stay behind. Take my chances just by waiting.
So Matt, you would stay behind. Flez, you would go. I would say I would prefer to go. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth, but my gut says that I would stay back. After everything they went through with the boats and not knowing if they were going to make it and just waiting and hoping and praying to find land. And I know that the land that they found was, less ideal. But just knowing that, I don't know, there were more men, that my chances of having warmth were greater. I mean, to put your body under more stress and harsh conditions again after like probably not even thawing out, and to know that the boat could capsize, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's a hard sell, because who else would find them if it's not those 5 guys, coming back. So, but yeah, for me, it was going to be a hard sell to get back on the boat after everything that they had just weathered. So I would hang back.
Can you guys remind me? The thought was that it was going to be as short as like a month of a wait for them to get back, but it could be 3 months, 4 months. It could be have like the wait until the next spring, right? So it could be as short as a month or two, but then as long as like a year, right? That's what I recall.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, the waiting game would have been brutal for sure. I mean, I think we see that in this chapter, because it starts out in April, I think, and then the part ends with multiple journal entries from different August dates. And they're basically all saying that, like, hey, we're waiting. We go up to the top of the hill. We don't see anything. It's torturous waiting, but I don't know. I think the resources and the men and just having faith that they'll come back would have kept me from being one of the 5. But I'd love to hear what Garrett thought.
I would rather go. Is it pronounced card, by the way?
I thought it was cared.
Cared, card, who
Cared.
cares?
Gold jacket, green jacket.
If you can't pronounce it, you can't get on it, okay, Garrett? Could you imagine Shackleton like, all right, what's the name of this boat? Cared. All right, get on. What's the name of this boat? Card. Sorry, buddy. Back of the
With how
line.
he chose the crew, that would make sense that he would do that.
What's your reasoning, Garrett?
I don't have the patience to wait. I'm an impatient person at baseline, and I have control issues. So sitting on the island waiting for other people to save me is kind of the double whammy negative effect of my personality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
getting to go and play a role, an active role in the rescue and saving operation. That way the patience is more or less in my control. If the weather is horrible, at least I'm dealing with the weather and can change course or row the boat or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, do you think with that, Garrett, is there a component where you would say like, I don't maybe like trust others as much?
Yeah, I think that's part of the control issue is a lack of trust in others.
I feel like I could see myself thinking very similar in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, if they were gonna let like Blackborough on there, I'd be like, all right, I'll go.
He doesn't have a
okay?
leg.
The guy just got his freaking leg amputated, like
Yeah,
or foot or
a
whatever.
foot
I
or
got
part of
it.
his
I'll
foot.
Twist my arm or twist his foot. All right. Well, for most of the group, it's back to the same slow, soul-crushing, freezing days on the island. Every moment is spent wondering if they'll manage to keep all their fingers and toes. In true desperate fashion, the men get inventive, repurposing the other boats to build a hut. As the proverb goes, necessity is the mother of invention. When was the last time you had to get creative with something? What problem were you trying to solve, and did it work?
I just use ChatGPT for all of my creativity, so I don't actually come up with anything anymore. It's just I have the thought of the thing, and then I have ChatGPT do it for me.
So when we were painting our house, our ceiling in the kitchen is vaulted, probably at like a 45-degree angle at the very tip of it. And it's probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet up in the air. And so when we were painting it, I was like, wow, how are we going to get that? And so, we got an edger. And so I was able to kind of get up around the edges. And then we borrowed a buddy's ladder, and I was able to like hoist it up and really like move it around and get up there. But then it got to like the very edge of the vaulted, so it's like at a 45-degree angle kind of, and the edger wouldn't get like all the way up to the very top of it. So I no joke got this ladder, I climbed to the very top of it, like how it's like an A-frame and it's like, oh, you can be on both sides. Like, no, I got to like the very top of the ladder. I got a broomstick, and then I taped a paintbrush to the broomstick. And no joke, I was like on one foot holding onto the wall and like leaning up and trying to get these the very top of the ceiling to paint over it. And I was like, I'm not going to hire anybody to do this. I'm going to get it done. And I just remember like trying different things. And then I was like, oh, wait, what if I put a tooth or a paintbrush to the end of a broomstick and make it work? And so that was the last time I got super creative. It looks like shit, but it's not blue.
I feel like I see a product and subsequently an ad that needs to be created for this.
I mean, it was dangerous because no joke, Marianne was out of town. I'd taken days off of work. And so I was climbing the top of this ladder and shaking and, leaning up against a wall while doing this. And it was kind of wild.
Dude, that's
so that
a good
was
way to
the
hurt your
last time I
spalda.
got inventive.
Yeah, you'll really get your spalda.
Rob, I think about work stuff. There's a lot of situations that might arise with work where, just earlier this week where I was talking to a physician and we were going to proceed with using our product for a surgery. And like so many obstacles we were running into of like issues with like the folks in the hospital were like, oh, we don't know if we can use this product because this and that. And I couldn't like look at the images to choose like the right product. And I think in those kind of situations, it's like, and I don't think I would have been as good at this as in the past. Not to say I'm good at now, but, just being okay with not knowing something and being very like polite to people and being like, I don't know this. Can, someone help me with this? And kind of maybe a different take on the question, but really seeking input from others. And, sometimes it's people I work with, but a lot of times people I don't. I think there's sometimes fear associated with trying to ask someone to help you. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people enjoy helping people.
I have to be creative every day with my job. Usually I'll pull up to a clinic and I'm like, what do I want to do when I walk in there today? And it's, do I drop off a business card and write a note on it? What do I write on the note? Do I drop off a brochure? Which brochure do I drop off? Do I drop off a pen, sticky notes, whatever kind of marketing material I have? What's it going to be today? And what's the type of doctor? How am I going to tailor the note to the specific type of clinic and doctor? And so I'm like kind of doing that throughout the day. Like I went to 22 different places on Monday. No, that was yesterday. So, I mean, that was like 22 stops where I did that basically. And so I like that part of my job. It's definitely, I have to get creative because you can't just drop off the same thing every time and say the exact same thing every time. So I think that's a creative aspect.
You ever written your contact information on like a $5 bill? And like, hey, here's my info. At least you get $5 out of it if you don't want to use it.
I think
That's
that
so
might
funny.
be illegal.
But then
that's illegal, yeah.
But then Fles like goes out to lunch and pays in cash and then gets $5 back and it's his name on it.
Because there's so many of them out there. Because I'm loaded with $5 bills.
Garrett, I know you're creative. Have you done anything recently?
I thought of work examples as well, like Fles. It's pretty common in a given day to have to juggle approvals and satisfying the wants and desires and requirements of multiple parties for a single product, whether that's the licensing partner we're working with and then our internal teams. So we're working on this new product that we're launching with Disney in a few months. And at the 11th hour, they came back with some requests to adjust their copyright. And long story short, there were multiple options. Some were more favorable, some were very unfavorable. And it was just like the necessity was this is a seasonal product. And if we don't resolve this issue now, and like we're going to miss the entire selling season. And it was a huge revenue opportunity. And so I think like, you know, just having to think of like, all right, what is a solution that I'm not currently thinking about? What is a way that we can meet everyone's needs here to some degree? Everyone gets what they want that I'm not currently thinking of. And that's something that's a pretty common occurrence in my line of work. I'm trying to think of a non-work experience though.
I like that kind of creativity though, like entrepreneurial creativity or business creativity. It fascinates me.
You know, Adam and Garrett, you guys both gave work examples. Is there anything that you feel like you have to do? Like, is there any like certain like thought process or kind of like maybe ritual even you go through when you're faced with like a more kind of a challenging situation? Like where you have to kind of adapt to a situation?
Like a ritualistic type thing that I would do if I faced a challenge? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, or like anything that you've like found to be consistently is something that once you do this, then it's helpful.
I think the most important thing is just to stay calm, to learn how to stay calm, whatever way works for you. Yeah. I have various techniques for that. Because, I mean, if you're not calm, then you're not going to make a good decision. So I think, and it takes away creativity for sure if you're not calm. Yeah, like I could freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I have a lunch tomorrow that in Bunker Hill. That means I'm not going to get to this part of my territory anymore. And then I'm going to not get to that part 2 weeks, but then take a deep breath and then be like, okay, I'll hit this part of my territory since it's along the way and I'll get there tomorrow or something like that. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I would just say,
no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, first off, completely agree with Fles, is staying calm. It's the first thing, very important. And second, again, going back to what I said earlier about being impatient and control, I can sometimes knee-jerk react to things. And I've learned like slow down, take a deep breath, literally give it some time. And then 3 is the pie is not fixed. Like work and business is not a zero-sum game where, okay, Disney's wanting this thing, but I'm wanting this thing. So they're going to have to sacrifice for me to win, or I'm going to have to sacrifice for them to get what they want. That's not necessarily, or nor should be the case or mentality. So thinking of there's ways that we can both get what we want. We can both make this product great. Currently experiencing this. Been a stressful time recently. So one of these things that I'm actively trying to think about, our team was working on these Valentine's Day Minnie Mouse designs, and we've been working, and we have a domestic manufacturing plant, and we got the samples made there, and it took a few weeks with the holidays, and we get them yesterday. We are about to submit them for approval, and the person on our team responds, like notifies me, hey, we like missed this, but the style guide, so like the art assets that we get from Disney, they have like launch windows, and the product can't set until July with the art that we used. And it was like literally like my heart dropped, because the amount of units we were probably going to sell was going to be like six figures. It was going to be like, we were going to push a lot of units. And I'm like, okay, stay calm, deep breath. Let's figure out a solution. Let's not panic. And let's think about, what does that set date mean? Is that like truly like no product, so this is very real time, like daily trying to figure out some solutions of like, we went from meeting with the marketing and the sales teams of, this is what's coming. We just got these samples. Look how good they look. We're going to request rush approval. We're going to do this, guys, till, hey, false alarm, we don't have anything. And that's not necessarily true. It might be. When this episode publishes, it'll probably be right around Valentine's Day. So it'll be curious to see what happens when this goes live. But it's a very like real thing that's very, it's not uncommon for this to almost be like a daily experience at work of just, there's a new issue and we got to figure it out.
I thought of some things work related, but work things are boring. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to share them.
Good work.
Thanks.
I'm just kidding. My work things are boring.
You work?
Ouch. Come on, bro.
I was bored during work and had a bunch of Amazon boxes. I think it was around Christmas time or something, because we got a ton of boxes. But I just wanted something to put my phone on. Like when you're sitting at your desk, you just put your phone there. So I just cut up some cardboard and got duct tape and made this little phone holder. It even has a hole on the bottom. You can put a charger in there.
That's awesome.
What do you call it, Matt? What's the model?
This
called?
is the Yellow Magic Cardboard 1.0.
Ooh. We'll include a picture in the show notes.
Why does it have to be yellow?
So just for reference, you've had this thing for like almost a decade?
Oh, not that long.
He said this
Christmas.
Christmas.
I think maybe 2 Christmases ago.
2 Christmases ago? That's impressive.
Heck yeah. Still using it, baby.
I was totally expecting you to say that you built a fort. I was totally waiting for that.
That would be sweet. It's my next project. I'll start
I was
on it
bored
tomorrow.
during work, so I built a fort.
That's so funny.
Matt, how was work today? Well, I built a fort. That's not what other folks can say they did during work.
Took a lot of engineering skills. Another fun thing that I think is just fun to share is whenever you're with a group of people who have different tastes in music, like on our Grand Canyon trip, Robb only likes country. Yeah. Garrett only likes rap. And the rest of us like good music. It's fun to create a playlist and have everyone contribute a song. So you just go around in a circle and say, pick one song. What's one song you want to add to the playlist? Boom.
And you just skip the songs that you don't like if you're Matt and Blaise.
Well, yeah, because I'm driving. If I'm driving, he's in the passenger seat. So yeah, it's all up to us, really.
Well, yeah, I don't remember any country on that playlist.
Me either.
I didn't add anything.
There
to
are maybe
it.
like 3 songs.
Okay.
It is a good way to satisfy everyone's music tastes.
That was
Just
pretty
create-
funny, Matt.
create
Whenever
layers.
I kept skipping to the next song and acting like I didn't know what was going on because it was on the
so
steering
confused.
That was good. That was good.
Have you guys seen those posts or videos about people that they're tired of porch pirates that steal their Amazon packages? So they put like all their stuff that they would throw away, like an old TV that's broken, and they wrap it up and they leave it on their porch, and these porch pirates come and get it
That's
for them.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Love
thanks
that.
for
That's
taking my
amazing.
crap.
That's hilarious. That's a good
I
idea.
like that.
That's pretty inventive.
A funny story along the line of porch pirates. How long do you think that phrase has been around?
70
5
years.
I was thinking, yeah, maybe 5 to 7 years. I would say about 8 years ago, I was working with this patient, and this patient was one of the he was an older guy, but like one of the more odd individuals I had worked with. And he just made stuff that made no sense like all the time. And I'd like try to track of like what he's saying and that kind of thing. And I remember one day I'm like working with him. Let's call him Bill. That wasn't his name, but I said, Bill, how's your day going? And he goes, these dang pirates, these porch pirates keep stealing stuff from my porch. And I had never heard the phrase before. And it wasn't like a common cultural phrase yet. So I was like, what is this guy smoking? And I remember like months went by, and then I that I heard the phrase like on the news or somewhere else in like pop culture, and I was like, oh, like I was just behind the times, and Bill was just way ahead and with what the kids were saying.
Yeah, man.
That's so
That's
funny.
funny.
All right, boys, I'm going to move on to the next one. The chapters go on to detail how the weather gets worse, the days grow shorter, the ice thickens, and the chances of rescue seem slimmer with each passing day. Things hit rock bottom for the group when the tobacco runs out, unless, of course, you're Black Barrel, who's facing the added joy of having his foot amputated with makeshift anesthesia. But despite everything, the men find small comfort in imagining their ultimate dish of choice if they could have one. The overwhelming favorite? Something sweet, not savory. Dumplings with cream. A variety of puddings are frequently mentioned, though some opt for eggs, pork, potatoes, and beans. But when you're Black Barrel, plain bread and butter are good enough. Now, if you were stuck in these icy conditions, having eaten penguin for over a year, what would your dish of choice be? Anything in the world, gents. What's it going to be?
Give me a big hamburger. Not made out of ham, but out of beef. From maybe like 54th Street or something. Those huge ones.
I haven't been there yet.
Bacon and cheese and jalapenos and a side of fries. And then maybe like a fresh out of the oven chocolate chip cookie.
Oh,
And then a bag of
would-
chips also. I would miss chips a lot.
What kind of chips though?
Ooh, probably the Sun Chips garden salsa.
Oh yeah, those are good. I think my answer, it really has a lot to do with like the situation, like being so cold. Like the one thing that I really enjoy in cold weather is chicken pot pie. And there's been a few
Okay.
there's been a few like frigid nights in Phoenix lately where it hits like 50 and just freezing. We've had chicken pot pie recently and it just like hits the spot. So
I don't know
good.
why that makes me laugh so much.
What? Chicken pot pie?
Yeah.
Every time I think of chicken pot pie, I think of Boston Market.
R.I.P. Right? Are they still out around?
I think they closed up, man.
Yeah,
we grew
R.I.P.
up going there.
Never forget.
I'd go Bud's Pizza. It's a little spot in South City here in St. Louis. And
South
it's
City.
like their gluten-free pizza crust is like thick, and it's the best pizza I've ever had by far. I'd go with the pepperoni, Canadian bacon, maybe some other stuff on there, loaded up with some meat, with the side of maybe like some hot cocoa. I do a mixture at QT of the hot cocoa and the French vanilla cappuccino,
Ooh,
like a little bit of the French vanilla, Mix that up.
I did that
Oh,
when I
yeah.
was like 10.
I would do that
I'm
when I
just
worked at
messing.
Quick Trip in the winter.
You worked at Quick Trip?
Yeah, in high school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We could get free drinks anytime. So when it was cold
Yeah.
out, that's exactly what I would do.
Matt works a mean 2 registers.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like you'd also go for like a whole sleeve of Oreos and a glass of milk.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's a
Plus,
staple.
if you actually were in this situation, would you risk a gluten meal or a gluten dish?
I mean, am I gonna die if I don't? Is it gonna be like severe GI symptoms or death?
Probably GI symptoms. Severe GI.
Yeah.
Would you risk it?
Yeah, I for sure. Yeah, that would be interesting.
It does make me wonder what penguin tastes like.
I feel like it just is like super chewy, rubbery.
Yeah, probably. Rob, what would you go with?
Man, I would go with like a 12-ounce filet, mashed potatoes, and fries. And then I would have a New York cheesecake, even though it's cold. That would be my dish of choice.
Okay, what kind of fries though, Rob? Like steak fries or waffle fries? Or like is there a certain place where the fries are the best you're thinking
Probably
of?
steak fries,
Curly fries.
some ketchup,
Mm.
and a side of Thomas Senseman.
Hey,
How's Singapore?
it's good, man. I've been stranded here for like 3 days.
Stranded?
Need us to come and get you, come and rescue you on the James Caird?
Yeah, man, I do. I need you to. I would prefer the Dudley Docker, but if you want to, James Caird is fine.
Yeah, the Dudley Docker was our favorite. That's right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Singapore's a good city. I like it. It's not a bad place to be stuck.
Do you only eat penguin there?
That'd be awesome. I'd like to try penguin. I think I'd want a big old helping of grandma's peach cobbler with some hot peach cobbler with some vanilla ice cream on top first, and then I could eat like steak and stuff.
Ice cream in Antarctica. Love it.
Yeah,
Ice cream in Antarctica.
it's the sugar that I'd miss the most because I'm a sugar fiend.
Garrett, what about you, man?
I think creme brulee comes to mind, like a warm dessert, just something. Like I was shocked at Matt's response. Like you've only eaten meat for almost 2 years, and then you want more. That just surprised me. I feel like I'd
It's
want
a different kind of meat.
True, but I think it's just like just meat. Period. Like I'd probably just be like, dude, give me some fruit and give me some chocolate, and I'll be good. But a creme brulee and a nice, especially with the cold, just a nice cup of coffee.
I was wondering, how did them boys not get scurvy that whole time? Because like it's not like any of the stuff they even eats fruit. So where are they getting all their vitamin C?
What's scurvy again?
It's a lot of sailors used to get it back in the day because they didn't have fruit, and I think it has to do with vitamin C and some of those other vitamins that you pee out pretty fast, and then your body doesn't have it for too long, and you have all these issues.
Yeah, vitamin C, I think specifically.
Yeah, I was wondering how they didn't get that. I guess they had stores though, like jams and jellies and stuff that they kind of kept most of the time.
Yeah, I wonder what the net amount of days were where they only had meat, because they seem to have powdered milk and stuff. Like they're like, yeah, then they had some more powdered milk. I'm like, they still have some? I just keep like, I don't know how much supply they had, but we keep reading in later and later parts of the book, and I continue to get surprised that there's more.
They were so delirious, they were mixing snow in with hot water, pretending it was milk.
I just looked this up because I was curious, because I remember at one point learning about like Inuit tribes and stuff like not getting scurvy, and they would eat the organ meat of animals, and so
Like a liver or something, a testicle here and there. A penguin testicle. You know they ate them. I mean, you're not going to let it go to waste.
You know,
Yes.
we were talking a couple weeks ago about just different jokes you would say, and I mean, I think like there'd be a prime situation for a joke when you're going around and asking everyone like, oh, what would you want to eat? What would you want to eat? I'd be like, penguin stew sounds pretty good right about now. And some dog pemmican.
Some raw seal blubber.
Yeah, I think it's like because like so the pemmican was what they gave the dogs like to eat, and I think it's like a combination of like grinded up meat, I think.
All right, boys. Part 5 wraps up with the men still on edge, anxiously waiting to see if the Caird will return to rescue them. We'll find out what happens in part 6. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Books Brothers podcast. Join us next week as we discuss part 6 of Endurance. If you've enjoyed listening or benefited from our conversation, please subscribe, give us a review, and share it with a friend that you want to connect deeper with. Lastly, we would love to hear your thoughts. You can reach us by email at connect@booksbrotherspodcast.com or on Instagram at Books Brothers Podcast. Until next week, read, reflect, and connect.